Round 2, fight.
I can't hear you. Talk. Oh wait, there we go. Okay.
So, right. I thought you were away. Oh no, that was yesterday. So I thought you were away at a cabin with your girlfriend. No?
I just got back yesterday.
Ah, right. Okay. I saw the snowblading clips. It's so funny that you look like exactly the same on skates as you do on snowblades. Like the style is similar. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I've never been on those things before, so it was fun to that's what I tried doing though. Like if you I don't know, I've never gone skiing. I've only gone I've only gone snowboarding, but these things were kind of like, I'm guessing like skis.
Okay.
But like skis are really long, so like these were like rollerblades on snow. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, they look proper dangerous. I've just learned how to ski in the past couple of years, and what I've realized is skis are really forgiving. Like stopping is like cess sliding on skis, but except you never slide out or stick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard to fall backwards on skis because you've got so much stability. Whereas I feel like on snowblades, you don't have any of those advantages. Yeah,
you're all over the place. There's the part where I kick the snowman where I fucking almost wipe out onto my ass. But yeah, right. It was fun trying those things out. It was fun.
Does your partner ski or snowboard? Like what was she doing?
She was just sledding.
Right. Okay.
We weren't getting too extreme. We just went up there for like a couple's, like my friend just had a baby. So yeah, my friend Zathan and Beck just had a kid, Miro.
Zathan Stewart.
Yeah, you know Zathan.
That's so. Yeah, he doesn't skate anymore though, right?
He still skates. I just gave him a pair of my skates.
All
but
right,
he doesn't life, man. He's got a kid now, but he lives in Australia and with his wife or with his girlfriend, and they're getting married this summer.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. We hung out up in Big Bear for a couple days, and he's like one of my best friends, so I never really get to see him, and it was really nice. It was a nice weekend.
That's weird. I was sure I remembered seeing an Instagram post from him like a couple of years ago, maybe even longer, saying that he was engaged or getting married or something. Or but COVID fucked that up. Right. Okay. Right.
That's why he happens to have a baby before the marriage. But they wanted to do it the other way, I believe, but COVID messed all of that up.
But it had other plans. I like it. Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's a blast. Yeah. The last thing I remember seeing him in was the Haitian video, and yeah, he had an amazing part in that. Yeah.
He's a good skater, man.
Yeah.
It's like weird. Like, I hope that the industry gets to the point one day where, okay, like we can't even support our top pros. We cannot support our top pros. Our top pros can't just skate. So like, it would be great to one day, like, who knows what that kid could have been able to do, with a little bit of support, a little bit more support,
It is. There's a lot of skaters. I think back on.
There's a lot of skaters just like Zathan that like.
Yeah.
It's really funny. A lot of people think like how maybe either lucky or there might be some other things that play into getting like status in rollerblading or any sport. I don't know about other sports. I only know about rollerblading. But like there might be some people that are like, their whole freaking life, like but that's because there's nowhere to go. Like there's like pro, the top, like you could be an AM that's about to be pro. What is pro? First of all,
that is true. Like, I think, well, especially in the 90s, it was like, oh, if you're getting paid, etc., because there weren't as many pro skates in like the mid 90s. It wasn't until we got to the end, but now it's like, what does pro mean? Because most pro skaters still aren't making a living off skating. They might get a pro skate, but it doesn't mean that they don't also have to work a job. Like most skaters who have pro skates have full-time jobs.
Yeah. So like the more we make this culture a culture, and like we get to the point where we have like these people can do that as a living, but at the end of the day, it's a toy. Okay. So like you're an entity that's promoting a toy, and there's skill levels to it. There's also nowadays, especially nowadays with Instagram, if you have more followers, then if you're not as good of a skater, but you have more followers than a really good skater, you might get more play or more action from a brand. You know, like there's all these things that it's really come down to, I guess, being what is it? Everybody, you know, like TikTok and Insta famous,
like an influencer.
You're really just an influencer. Yeah. Like, so really being a professional skater is a combination of being an influencer and bringing the toy or whatever you're demonstrating to like a crazy level that not many people could do it, you know? So that's like what a pro does, I guess, demos toys like really well, and is really good on camera. Somebody who's really good on camera too, or like can talk to people, who's communicative and also polite. If you're just a jerk all the time, you know, like nobody's going to want to deal with you. Doesn't matter how good of a skater you are.
Well,
and like, there's certain situations, you know, Kanye West gets to fucking rant and rave around the, I mean, he's not a sportsman, or like an athlete, but like still, like there's some situations where people get to shoot their mouth off and like still, I mean, he got dropped by Adidas though. After
he lost a lot of money as a result.
He did lose a lot of, even so. Yeah, hey, even Kanye West, even people, you know, that have crazy power and stuff like
But there's also, well, like to pick up on that, there's on two of the things you said. One, there's people who don't really engage with social media as much, yet that, if anything, actually is helping them. It helps their brand as a skater because it maintains that mystery around them. Like skaters like Broskow and like Sean Darst, you know, someone you obviously know and skate with. Like Sean kind of just keeps a low profile, releases a clip once in a while, and then just lets the skating do the talking and doesn't really voice any opinions or anything on social media. And Broskow's the same. And I feel like that maintains their mystique, and that is like a huge part of their like identity as skaters for people who don't know them.
I agree.
But then you get people who are all over it and are really trying the hardest to get followers. People like Damon Franklin, for example, who's got, I don't even know how many followers, he must have hundreds of thousands, but it's not going to get him a pro skate.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that, like the thing with people who strive to become pro for like a status thing or a pro boot, like it's pretty obvious when somebody's doing it for the wrong reason too. Like, not saying anything about Damon. I don't know about that situation. What I mean is like, there's a lot of skaters though, who it's almost like it just reeks off them that they want that pro boot or they want that thing. And like, that's why they're skating. It's almost like starting Mesmer. It's crazy. They're like with Bill, like there's tons of messages now, like from random people like, hey, have you ever thought about me being on the pro team and me having a pro skate and me being up on that shit? Bet you didn't think about that. What about me? You know? And like,
yeah.
And that's awesome. Yeah. Like, show me what you got, you know, like, also buy the skates, put out some edits, promote the brand. Don't just be skating USDs or razors and give me a message saying, hey, you ever think about putting me on the team and not even having our skates?
It's a weird, like, I've noticed that quite.
There's so many kids like that.
Yeah, it doesn't just exist in Blading, yeah, but
being like, hey, check me out.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you're right. Like when Sean and Broskow, like they know that they're smarter, older skaters that also grew up putting out sections, little things once or 3 times a year, not 30 times a week, you know, like, so yeah. But then there's also like a difference. Broskow, professional skater. Sean Darst, professional skater. Air Manatee, Air Dolphin, you know, like influencers, awesome influencers. I fucking love both those guys. I love all the guys I'm talking about. But like, I'm not gonna lie, like I do see why some people are like, or not some people. I'm not gonna lie, I do think that yes, pro skaters push a lot of skates, but so do these guys too. Like you don't have to be pro to push product. I was just at the mountain on those ski blade things, and fucking like 20 people came up to me while I was making that stupid video, and you know, like not like all at once, but like, you know, random. Those things look fun. What are those? Oh my God. And I'm like, dude, you guys live up on the mountain. You've never seen some idiot like me with these? Like, but yeah, I was just telling them, you know, they're kind of fun. They are dangerous. I've never gone skiing, but yeah, they seem probably more dangerous than skis.
Yeah. It isn't. I think that's the main, like, that's the main crux of this kind of argument right now. Like people are like, we're leaning too far towards this influencer culture, because obviously influencers, people that you mentioned, like Air Manatee and Air Dolphin, they're reaching a much wider audience than other skaters you mentioned, like Broskow and Darst. But the thing is that going to sell rollerblades?
Well, what it's going to do, what it does is it makes society, it's like trickles into society and culture, and it makes it more acceptable when somebody, okay, there's this guy who shoots the middle finger off and he wears roller rec blades and he's like wearing like a onesie and he like has a mustache, and I think it's like Timber Wolf. I don't know.
Oh, you're referring to a literal person. Okay, I thought you were just right.
No, this is a guy on Instagram. I don't think he's not an aggressive rollerblader. He's not a part of our culture. He's just a guy who thought it would be funny to start this character where he wears like a snowsuit onesie and he has a helmet on and a mustache and he has rollerblades on.
Right.
But like, it's like people love him. And his whole thing is he like takes his hand out of his pocket and gives you the finger. Like it's always like a different scheme, but at the end of it, it's always fuck you.
Okay.
And like, it's hilarious. And the amount of followers that he has and all that stuff. And the fact that he has rollerblades on his feet, I think that like, just that, like, even though they're not aggressive, like rollerblading, like all of it, rec, like all the things we were talking about before. We talked about this last week. Like slalom, down, all the different versions. That getting play gets everybody play. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that to work together as like, if there's, I might be getting off track here. So we were mainly talking about
basically does it sell rollerblades? But then you kind of, what you're suggesting is if it seeps into mainstream culture, then that can only be a good thing, because we've got very little representation in mainstream culture. In fact, we've got pretty much no representation, which is why I think a lot of people are excited about the Them and Weekend collab, because it was like, this is a step towards more people seeing blading that wouldn't normally see it. Because of what? Because of comedy, because of things besides rollerblading. Like it's not just about being a good skater.
When in that skit, when Ashad, I don't know, it's like
Ashad where,
when he comes out and he like, you know, he's like a preppy kid, and then he takes off the clothes and he's like a cool kid, puts on the glasses and smells the rose. That's fucking cool. Like we want to get, I think a professional skater should be able to do that too, you know, like should be able to, you know, because if rollerblading goes in that direction, that's what we're going to want. I mean, I think like I just watched the 9 Club interview or thing, and where they were talking about the Weekend and Them collab. And I loved it. I thought it was cool. I thought like I did, but yeah, as someone who's watched 9 Club, I've watched a lot of episodes. They're a bunch of hypocritical bullshitting bastards, because the main guy, Chris Roberts, he is slagged off blading countless times, and then as soon as but it's like, oh yeah, Brosko's awesome, he's like, oh yeah, that's cool, yeah, oh yeah, is it? Yeah, very good. Yeah, but I mean, look at what that whole, I mean, yes, you're right, and there's no taking away that history, but at the same time, look at that episode, like, after all, and they were saying that he was like, I never in a million years would have ever thought that this is something that we would be And the guy was like, and the other guy was like, and it's actually cool. Like they did it cool. Like it was good. And I agree. And I think that so what I took to kind of like wrap it on full circle, influencers and pro skaters, it should mesh eventually into one. Like when you saw Broskow acting and Sean Darst acting and Parker acting in that new skit, they did great. Sean looked like he played. I thought he did great. Like
Brosco just stood there and looked like Brosco. That's not acting. That's just Brosco being like he's just standing there looking aloof. That's what he does in everyday life.
You'd be surprised, man. Have you ever done a commercial? Have you ever been in front of cameras like that and somebody says, act normal, act natural? Get the fuck out of here. It's a lot harder than you think.
Yeah.
And Broskow just sat there. That's almost harder to do than fucking having a line or saying something. Because then you have to go, you're micromanaging your little muscles on your face. No.
Yeah, I'm sure in his head he was like, shit. He's like, don't do something dumb. Don't do something dumb.
And I think that like just the fact that they didn't have lines was even like cooler. You know, there wasn't much talk. There wasn't any.
No, none of them spoke. Yeah.
Not one rollerblader said anything. That's also cool. Like it's what you were saying before. It kind of goes with what Sean's and Broskow's thing is anyway. They don't really say much. They're just fucking awesome and they're there.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of what that skit shows. It's like these guys aren't saying anything. You walk past all the skateboarders, there's something being said or something happening. These guys are just not giving a fuck over by the bleachers. I thought it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But like what
that's quite funny how it like unwittingly channeled into that though, because it was like that is what they're like in real life. They're kind of mysterious people to people who don't know them, obviously. So yeah.
But like so I think they're great, and like I think like we're getting to the point. Thank you, baby. We're getting to the point where like I think like bladers are starting to get like a little bit, or they should be getting a little bit better in front of camera too. I mean, I'm not one to talk. I'm not an actor, but I think that stuff's great. Like skits, things that are more fun. Like a lot of people are always like, you know, they talk about rollerblading history and stuff like, oh, you remember how fun, like, you know, the Roadhouse Crayola anti-rockers were and stuff like that. What about all the fun old skits people used to do when Edwards used to dress up like a fitness like a fitness blader and like, you know, kind of talking crap about the whole fitness culture, I guess, at the time. But like that stuff was funny. I'm sorry. Yeah. Even if there was like some little hints of like, we don't like this and we don't like that. But nowadays we're pretty inclusive towards everything. I think I don't think that there's much negativity or hate within our culture. Like
definitely more so than in the early 2000s, like between 2000 and 2010, even beyond that, rollerblading took itself very seriously. And we were very quick to point out anything that threatened to make our culture or sport look bad, even if it didn't necessarily make it look bad. Some people just deemed it to.
But honestly, it's like art. Art isn't good art until somebody high up says it's good. So when Weekend said it was good, now all of these followers like Nine Club and everybody else, they're just following down that trend of like, oh yeah, Grant made a great video and he exposed something for being awesome that already was awesome. And all these guys are just slowly but like surely eating their own words. And literally those guys all talk shit on blading. I've watched many episodes, not many of the Nine Club, but I've seen on previous things them jab at blading.
Yeah.
And like, and all of them just eating their words, saying how cool it was and how fun it was to watch. And fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Although at least Thrasher stayed a little bit more consistent. I can't remember what his name is. Gary presents some TV show on there. Can't remember what it's called. But he does like a weekly roundup of skateboarding news. And he obviously mentioned the Weekend thing, and he's like, right, that's right. We're giving rollerblades a pass, but if they start making fucking scooters, I'm going to be pissed. And I was like, at least you're like staying on script. You're doing
you're
like
talking about Skate Line or whatever.
that's the one, Skate Line, Skate Line MBD, or whatever it's called. He makes the jab and then he brings in scooters, and I'm like, of course you're going to bring in scooters, and yeah.
But it's like we need to stop. Not even we need to stop. Like, giving into their community. Like, do you think the 9 Club or Skate Line or any of those guys watch Wheel Scene or
absolutely not. No,
they don't. So it's like, and if they did, it's by it's just by that maybe one of us had mentioned them in this podcast, and like, you know, maybe you put it in the title and they're like, oh, what the fuck are these guys saying? Maybe. But at the end of the day, bladers seem to migrate towards skateboarding and skateboard culture more than skateboarders migrate towards rollerblading and rollerblading culture.
Definitely. And we have historically as well.
Yeah,
right?
Historically. But now I do think that, you know, more eyes are going to be shown on our sport from other sports. I'm getting hit up left and right by all sorts of BMXers, skateboarders, scooters that want to just go session because they've seen that, you know, I'm accepting of all wheels. And like, yeah, it's amazing. I can't wait to go skate with all of them and do all that stuff. And it's like weird because it's like, that's how I grew up in my town. Like I grew up, everybody, you know, we all did everything. And some people were listening to our episode last week and they were really relating with me. Some people didn't, you know, grow up with that going on, you know, like very secluded. Actually, speaking of the 9 Club, they were mentioning in that's not how shit was in the 2000s for them, you know, like for me in the 2000s, me and my friends were all similar age, did everything. But like the older skateboarders, they probably, and I remember too, I remember going to skate parks where they did not fuck with us. It was like, you guys stay over there. We'll stay over here. And then when we start migrating over there, you guys start migrating over here. We just, you know, kind of do it like that. But now a lot of people are hitting me up. A lot of people seem like they don't care about not knowing the tricks or the names. You know, when I skate with other people, it's so many questions. And think about when you go out skating with your friend and he does a fish brain, you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, that was sick. That's it. Yeah. If you don't rollerblade, there's so much more to talk about. Oh my God, yo, so you're sliding on, okay. And what is that? Okay, that's called topside. Weird. Okay, so I get it. You're topside. You know, like, but there's a lot more to talk about. Yeah, definitely. And that's how I am too with scooters. Like when I seen my friend Devin do specific tricks, I'm like, okay, is that still a lip slide? Or is that still like, and he'll be like, yeah, like we adopt this trick from skateboarding and we adopt this trick from BMX. And then this trick is just strictly scootering, you know, like, so there's still so much for me to learn. And I'm going to get a scooter from Devin. He said he was going to hook me up with one. But yeah, like it's just so fun to learn, I think. And like, also, I think it will get to a point, maybe not with like companies like Vans or anything, but I think it will get to a point where kind of like what Jordan Taylor's doing with Lucy, I think there will be teams of all sports in the future, like full on professional team, like 2 BMXers, 2 skateboarders, 2 rollerbladers, 2, you know, like there will be very inclusive companies in the future, I think, towards all routes. At least I hope so.
There's definitely potential for it. I'm not as optimistic that will transpire, at least. Well, maybe not in my generation or your generation, but yeah, it's definitely possible.
Why do you think that?
Just because I think.
What do you think Shredweiser was like? I don't mean
I think it's like important to clarify. Like when I think of that, I think of like as a major company. I'm not like thinking of on a grassroots level. Like,
Yeah. That, because you're right. I brought up Vans. Well, I did. That's what I'm saying. I don't know about major corporations like Vans doing that, but I would love to see that one day where Vans makes a collab with them or something. And like now Vans, maybe like there's some there's once a year there's a Van skate made by like a collaboration with another brand or like whatever happens, like.
Well, it's like with the Clark's collaboration, like that would never have happened unless the person who worked for Clark's was a rollerblader. Like no way would they have approached them and been like, do you want to do a shoe? So it could be as simple as someone literally getting a job as, a marketing rep or something at one of these skate centric brands and being like, look at what's happening with this brand. Look at the movement and the hype that's behind them. We need to partner up with them and it would do good for our image. And then it could work. But yeah, it could be as simple as that.
Literally what you said has already happened. And that's what's led to these things. Like for John, if Danny Beer didn't work for Intuition, that's how that got started. When it comes to the Clark's thing, there's an inside guy who was, used to rollerblade, who friends with John, an old skater. I'm not sure his name.
Oh, his name's Matthew Stewart. Weirdly, I used to live with Matthew when I was at
university. That was your friend in the flat, right? Yeah, the guy with the glasses who was filming on the phone with the new thing.
So he stopped because he broke his leg really badly, and it just wasn't going to heal to the point where he could skate properly for a while. So yeah, he was off for a few years, but I'm
glad that he's still sticking.
He skates. Yeah.
Yeah. And his clips that I've seen of him recently are freaking awesome. If you have a brain, it shows. You don't need to have like your leg doesn't need to be in the best condition. If you have a good brain, you can make a great line or a great skate trick or, and it might fucking hurt, but you'll still get the clip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what I was saying was, all those things that happened, like with people behind the scenes that rollerblade, those are steps, right?
Definitely.
Like those are steps. And those steps had to be made for like now, and then Kyle, John knows Kyle used to rollerblade, Brandad, like that whole collab. Kyle also used to rollerblade. Now that there's been a couple steps with those behind the scenes people and the way that John meticulously started his company and did the way he's done it since then, and the way like it's a brand new company kind of still, and the way that they like did their thing, nothing but kudos to them. And it's amazing how he put those steps in place in order to, now there's going to be people coming out of left wing. Because there's gonna be people see, not me and you know that there was a rollerblader behind the scenes. Not the whole world knows.
Definitely. Like people are gonna be like,
them did something with Clark's is because there's not little Susie and Joseph from wherever do not know that.
Yeah. So definitely they're going to see the brand association and be like, whoa, they're doing big things. Or they're going to see Blading Cup and be like, this just took over an entire town. Like this guy means business. Yeah.
But just like it's a full circle, and it's a full thing where like they were also saying on that, I hate to keep bringing up that episode of the 9 Club thing, but we're talking about the same thing. So like they said at the end of that, it isn't just a collab for no reason. It isn't out of nowhere. There's so many different angles of like, just it just makes sense. It makes sense. Whether it's all of us skating with these pro skaters on almost a regularly basis now, and like just the communication between skate spots, and like like went from having 30 spots to 300 skate spots, like that's from the BMX crew, the scooters crew scene, the skateboarding scene. And we're all fighting for, I guess we're all fighting to get that clip first, or like that spot first kind of thing. But when it comes to different sports, they don't see it that way. They don't care if a rollerblader half cab top ass did that thing, you know, like
I know.
they want
I know what you
they
mean.
want the same visual in their section, you know, because they need that visual, they need that spot, they need something like that because they have too many hubbas or too many down rails or whatever. So it's like I think it will get to a point where it's like maybe Vans or you know, whatever. I don't know why I keep saying them, but like bigger companies or whatever, they might want to make a skate just because of what they're seeing, you know, like there's a fucking Clark's. Wait, did they do the you know how them made the skateboard, or they made the weekend them and then they made the them weekend skate?
Mm-hmm.
Did they do that with Clark's? Did they make a blue skate too? That was a Clark skate.
They made the blue skate that was the 909 that was that had like the Clark's labels on it, and then they made the two Clark shoes that had them. It had like a them logo on it, and one of them had
So Clark's are subtle shoes anyway, kind of.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be graphics and stuff all over with a Clark's like thing. So that's why they have just the tag with the official Clark's tag thing on it. It's cool. But like, I think there's going to be definitely maybe people trying to do that, more of that in the future. And
like you said, we've already got that kind of collaboration going on between the sports. Like you said, exchanging spots, that's a massive thing up here. Like all the BMXers and all the rollerbladers basically skate the same terrain. Like the skateboarders tend to skate flat ground stuff and ledges, whereas other BMXers want to hit up rails and gaps. So they're always posting their clips, and I'll be like, oh, where is that? And then in return, they'll see stuff on Wheel Scene or whatever, like one of the guys, and be like, that, like, where's that? That looks like it's in our city. And you're like, it is. Like, it's like, and you'll give them the street. And so it is already happening. It's just how can you take it to the next step of it actually being like out there and official, like making videos together or doing events together, or like you said, like brands collaborating together.
It would be events and promotion. So like events, promotion, and just those two things I think would be the future of it too, where it's like the Clark's shoe that's being sold in a store, there's maybe like a rollerblade, you know, like maybe like Sean or Greg Greg like putting on, you know, he has one shoe on and one skate on and he's buckling up. And like, that's like the ad outside of the store, you know what I mean? Like a billboard type shit.
Yeah.
I think like once it starts, I think it will, like the more collabs like that between like Clark's, like shoe company, Clark's and them and things like that, we'll be able to not maybe sell the skates in a shoe store, but at least have the ad where it's like, you could buy these shoes here. And there's a rollerblader being the model, like a really good rollerblader, a friend of all of ours that, you know, that's the next step. And then also being also like commercials and stuff like that also is included with that, what I think. And then like also the events. So events like obviously leading up to Olympics being included in all of those kind of things too. And yes, there's always going to be Blade Cup. There's always going to be Thrasher event. There's also always going to be these things that are dominant for that one culture. But I think that, you know, even those things like me, Parker, and you know, Dom Bruce, we just went and skated the Hell Bomb.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw some clips of that. Yeah. What is that like being there? Like, because obviously, yes, it's hugely skateboarder centric. It's quite an intense event. It's downhill. It's really fucking dangerous.
It's amazing. They're like, oh my God.
I feel like it's just as dangerous for people in the crowd as it is for the skaters. Because if you're standing next to the landing and someone wipes out, you're getting a skateboard right off the shin, potentially off the face, or you're getting like a 15-stone guy crashing into you at full speed.
If you're there, you know what you're getting into. And if you're walking by, if you're walking by and you don't know what's going on, you're probably on the outskirts of it, looking in and going, what the fuck is going on? Flames are shooting out. They're adding more freaking pipes. Kids are flying. Literally all ages of people are flying and eating shit. Yeah, you're right. It's insane. It's wild.
So what was that like? What was your experience like of being there, like as a skater? Like, was there a big group of you? Like, how did you?
the last year was better for me. I had just moved to Long Beach last year. So I went to 2, but last year I didn't have a broken hand. So I like 540'd over my friend Wolfgang, who owns 86 Mag, and like just all my friends who skateboard were there. So it was a little bit more low key than this past year. This past year was wild. They upped it up. Last year they only had like a launch ramp, and like everybody was skating like off this loading dock over at Grass Gap. And then this year they were just like, fuck it, we're gonna go all the way in. And my friend Austin Lilu and his buddy Kyle, they like organized.
Austin's filmed a bunch of Anthony Marchion sections in the past. Yeah.
Oh, he's amazing, dude. He's a great skateboarder, great filmer. He films all sorts of great athletes. But he threw that, I think, this year. Austin did. And I think they threw it last year too, but like this year they were just like, fuck it, we're going more and more ham. They're getting more control over it. Last year they didn't have the road blocked off, but since it was so crazy, I think this year they actually had the cops block off the road. And it was just insane. Kids were drinking. The cops were right there, and everybody's drinking, like, you know, like a normal. That's
why I wondered if it was like a illegal street event where they all just like show up, like
it was illegal
we're meeting here
last
at
year.
This time. Let's try and get away with this. But then I was like, there's so many people, they can't possibly get away with that if it's illegal, right? Okay.
It was illegal last year, and I think they know I think Long Beach has caught on to the skateboard culture. They don't give a fuck, so they probably worked with them and were like, hey, listen, we know you're gonna just fucking do this again. Let's make this a little safe, you know?
Right.
Let's block off the road. Let's get some cops, you know, let's organize this a little bit. I think that's what they did, but they were like, oh, let's make this safe. Fuck that. We're going to make this even, since you guys are giving us that, we're going to go even more. So yeah, it was sick, dude. Bam Margera was in the back of a truck. Like he was like some godfather, like signing autographs and shit.
God. Okay.
But
actually, I saw that because I saw a picture of, I'm sure I saw a picture of Dom with Bam Margera.
Dom with Bam. Yeah. But yeah, so these events, they definitely inspired me and Bill. Me and Bill were like, wow, like this is like, because Bill throws events. Bill throws the invitation. So that's what it kind of reminded me of. The old Billy Invitationals when they were under like the bridge, under a bridge in New York somewhere,
Williamsburg,
where there was broken cars, like just shy of flames. There weren't. I don't think anybody was doing any pyro works back then, but like we had almost an event like that, very street at least, even though it was still ramps. And I think if there was anything I have to say about going to that event was definitely, it was inspiring to kind of like have more fun, I guess, at competitions. Like I love how John had the hockey, like at Blade Cup, he had a whole little hockey rink.
Okay.
Where kids were playing hockey, just other things, but Blade Cup is pretty wholesome, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's going to be, you know, a guy screaming at everybody, calling them effing a-holes and like blowing flames up and stuff. Like the guy who was announcing too at the Hellbomb was just relentless, like just making fun of everything, everybody, and like just having fun, I guess. It's our sport's not really like, there's a lot of guys like that in our sport, but I don't see like, unless that cult, like, I don't know. It's just skateboarding has so many different, like in that freaking thing that we were talking about, the comedy skit that Weekend made. There's these kind of skateboarders. There's these kind of skateboarders. There's these kind of skateboarders. There's like 13 different varieties of skateboarders. And then you get to just rollerbladers and it's just one thing. Just
I would say we do. I would just say it's I would say
it's not provided in that skit. It's not provided in that skit. But what I'm trying to say is we do have that, but it would need to be like Berza Torden, or like the Berza guys would have to like throw a competition once a year. And if they threw a competition, it would probably be like Hellbomb. Those kids are like little metalheads.
Yeah.
Of course they're going to try and light shit on fire and have heavy metal blasting and like all sorts of different, you know, edgy music probably. And like, I could just see, it just depends on the person who throws it. So Blade Cup is run by John Julio. Obviously it's a very, you know, it's
John has a clean image. He's got a clean aesthetic.
It's a clean, wholesome kids, all ages, in the middle of a downtown. And then you got Billy, the way that he throws competitions in New York, where it's like a little bit more like, where it's a little bit more blood, sweat, and tears. Like, hey, we're fucking doing it.
You can say it. It's a little bit more hood. It's a little bit more, a
little bit more off the,
a little bit grimier. Yeah.
Yeah. Which can also present amazing feelings at competitions. That's when like everything's like, whoa, what's going to happen next? Like, cause also there's not as much controlled, environments. Blade Cup, everything's a controlled environment. But when you get to, okay, so let's bring up another person who does competitions. The Schmitty's thing, the Schmitty comp.
The ramping camp, yeah.
And I guess I'm only bringing up American comps. I shouldn't do that. I should bring up other guys. So Winter Clash thrown by Yo-Yo. That's like a bitter cold style thing. I don't know who throws bitter cold. I think it was Daniel Kinney. Yeah. Those two, so Yo-Yo and Daniel have a very similar method of like, I don't know. Winter Clash and bitter cold felt like the same thing, just Europe and America.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, there's all different ways of doing competition. And that one was like, so that one, bitter colds and winter clashes remind me of where they're an in-between of Billy and Julio, the way they throw competitions. It's a little bit in between because it's organized, but when you're there, you're like, this is not organized.
Yeah. When you're in the thick of it, you're like, this is chaos.
There's people with horn helmets, chugging fucking beers and falling back in the crowd, falling off, like just people being drunk, really. Basically, and like, and that's fun. But yeah, you got to remember this is a event. But I love those competitions too. I like that dance with fire, because everybody's so excited. And another thing that happens at winter clashes and bitter colds, the place gets fucking packed.
Yeah.
Like the skaters almost can't even skate.
Winter clashes, I would say, harder to skate than most events because for the most part, you can't actually see the obstacle until you arrive at it. You can be going full speed, but until the crowd parts, you're skating to something at full speed blind.
Yeah. Fully blind. That's another thing too about skating competitions that are just, you have an idea. There's so many times where you like, there's a local who skates this all the time. He knows every pocket. He knows every way of doing the things here. Especially if you're out of town, you just have to pretend you're that local and you've hit, you got to use all the skate parks you skated in your past and everything. And like, kind of like, be like, I know what that, it's almost like when your tongue looks at something and it knows what that texture is going to feel like if you lick it. Like your brain has to like look at that quarter pipe pocket to that other sub box into this other quarter pipe that you've never hit before. That's fucking wild. You have to look at that and be like, yep, I know what that's going to taste like. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So those events, they get kind of crazy with that. Earlier in the years of bitter cold, not so much the end of bitter cold. The end, they had bleachers and stuff like that. It was a little bit better with being able to skate without people like rushing in on the spot. Like, how like, you ever see that like wave of people like come in on a spot, like, cause they're all just standing next to it. But that's cool. I don't know. It's like,
it makes it feel like, I imagine the skater when they land that trick and then they just get swarmed and lifted up. You're like, holy shit. I feel like I'm on stage right now.
Yeah. And I've seen that happen to like Joe Atkinson. It's fun. It's cool when that happens, when you do something and everybody gets excited. That energy of that kind of comp is really fun too. But I guess
someone mentioned that. I'm steering you off topic because you're going to talk about this for 20 minutes.
No. I actually was gonna sum it all up. But what do you have to say?
So your episode came out, and then this guy called Martin Gade got in touch. Don't know if you know who Martin is. He's in Australia. He skates for Razors. He's like long hair, electric wizard guy. Like
yeah. Oh, dude, I've seen his skating. I've seen his skating Like not a bunch, but I've been following him for like since I started skating again. Like
yeah, he's like, he had a section, I think it was last year, that was really good. But he mentioned you when you appeared at Powwow, the last Powwow before when coronavirus basically swarmed America, and you were on the podium, and I think it was like your first event, and you hadn't. I don't think you even competed, but you were like,
I wasn't even really skating yet.
Yeah, you're like, I haven't been skating in 5 years, but I'm coming back to this shit and I'm winning it. Montre, like, watch out.
I'm sorry I didn't compete. I haven't skated in like 5 years, but I'm trying to do it again. And I love you guys. I'll be back next year and I'm gonna compete. And watch out, Montre. That's all I gotta say. I'm coming for you.
Yeah,
and he was just like, it's so funny to see that. And then coronavirus hit. And then obviously you went to Blading Cup. I think Montre won it and you came second or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you went to the Frankie Morales and you won that one, right?
I won that one. Luckily, Montre didn't compete.
Yeah. And it was like,
he was like, I'll let you have this.
Prophesized it. Like he was coming back and he was challenging Montre. Like it was there. So yeah.
I'm glad I got that, at least that one win. Jesus Christ. Cause like, yeah, it was the beginning of Mesmer and I just want to get the brand on the. I'm not a competitor, man. Like
you're a lying bastard. You get the fire in you and you're like, this is happening.
No, I just wanted to get this shit on the map, bro, because this is what I believe in. I believe in Mesmer. And
maybe not all the time, but there's definitely times where you can tell it takes you because you just go on a tear and you're like, this is my day, this is happening. So I don't believe that you don't get that fighting spirit in you.
It's never my day. It's never my day. I've never had it in my day.
The competition results would beg to differ throughout history, but okay.
Well, I think that like anybody who's, kind of like when you're in competition, you really do stop thinking about like you stop thinking about your if you're gonna be okay, or like if you stop thinking about all the injury, or it's the other way where you do think about the injuries and then you don't win because then that's what happened to me. I got scared at the last comp, at the last Frankie. Started getting scared of the sub box and I was skating all day and whatever. I was like, that's when I got hurt because I was scared of it. If you're confident, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to win. Oh, I fucking hate that. I hate getting into that mindset, dude. It's just like so annoying, but I need money at the end of the day.
Like you're
and
using
I love
your skills to, yeah.
I love skating. So like if there's a chance where I can skate and make money, I'll do it, but I don't love it though. I don't love the competition. I love like seeing my friends do tricks, land tricks. I don't like the anxiety I get. I love seeing my friends go fucking wild. Chad Hornish went fucking wild last like at Frankie Morales. So did like just a lot of my friends. But yeah, I really don't. So what were we talking about? So the competition thing we were talking about before. I think that. Do you think that we're ever gonna do something maybe collabing with? Do you think we're ever gonna have a Daily Bread again? Let me ask that.
No, I think the culture has kind of moved on from that, and I think.
Well, you don't think we're ever gonna have? You don't think we're ever gonna have a platform where we could watch all of our media sources all at one
possibly.
place?
Don't get me wrong. I think like something could come along that could do that, but I think the way social media is right now and how like just all encompassing it is, like for the most part, skate websites have kind of become redundant. Like I can't remember the last time I visited the BMAG website or the One website. I don't think I've visited them. In fact, that's why I turned off the Wheel Scene website at the start of the year, because I was like, I'm not visiting rollerblading websites. Why am I running a rollerblading website? It doesn't make sense to me. And with Daily Bread, like I feel like the only way something like Daily Bread would still be in existence was if the original kept going. The fact that it died off, it had so much more cultural significance that you can't really, it takes so much time to build up something like that. Like Thrasher is only still in existence because of its history.
Because of all that culture and history that they
But then
had.
it got lucky and pop culture picked it up and they had the t-shirt run and the t-shirts became really famous and they must have made They've made way more money off those t-shirt
So-
sales because of Rihanna than they have off the skateboard culture in the past decade.
Yeah, but this can easily happen again, and I'll tell you how right now. And it might be a little bit more complicated than me just assuming that this is that easy. But
Right.
but okay. I'm a rollerblader that has stumbled on a great, amount of money somehow. I don't know how, but I got it. I got a lot of fucking money. And I love rollerblading. And I know all its history, and I know how important it would be to maybe contact Angie Walton and contact Arlo Eisenberg, all the original people included with Daily Bread, and try to because like you said, Thrasher has all that culture and history. So does Daily Bread. So yeah, a new
It
Daily
does,
Bread
yeah.
wouldn't be able to happen. But if we were to go to the original source of Daily Bread and restart Daily Bread and not even do hard copies, only Instagram and website, and but like still with that from that soul of like where it comes from. And I get it, they're all older now and they don't maybe have the time or want to, but people, even though like it's something that lives on, it's an energy that lives on. And the kids today, we still I'm a fucking adult, but the younger kids, they can still live in that place where it's the same thing. Like if they were to produce it themselves, it would still have that same, if they did it right, it could still be very core street and professional mixed into a really fun platform where we can have like dailybread.com or whatever. And we have all that history too of like the hard copies and everything. And then if rollerblading does come back, that could easily be that could easily be a thing where it's a trendy shirt where you start seeing Daily Bread shirts again and stuff like that. Like not only in our community, but other people, because if it does become the Thrasher of rollerblading and Daily Bread came back and this was a reality in this world, this would be where everybody went to watch it. It would be the main TV. If it was looked at like Thrasher, it would be the thing that people would know to Daily Bread after a couple of years.
Yeah, like how Thrasher has the YouTube channel. Yeah,
they would know Daily Bread more than the teams, the riders, and the brands within the skateboard or within the rollerblade industry. They would know all. They would only know. I go to watch my daughter at dailybread.com, watch her skate. I go to watch my nephew at dailybread.com to skate. All the people who don't rollerblade, they'll go to this thing, and it'll get bigger, and it will be a thing where you'll see random guys who don't skate, random moms who don't skate wearing Daily Bread shirts because they're like, that's where I watch my family skate. Like, and it's just that black and white. It's that simple. It's like, just make it and it will come. And people just procrastinate and they're like, oh, that's never going to work. Let's not do that. Fuck, man. Like, you're right. Or maybe you're wrong. Maybe it doesn't have to be Daily Bread. Maybe it could be a new platform that that's where people go who don't skate to watch people skate.
Oh, I'm living proof that the new platform is a failed concept, and so is Blader Union. We both died a death trying to create what it is you're basically talking about, and it's a lot of work. And when it doesn't pay off and just starts gradually getting you into more and more debt, you're like, it's time to pull the plug. This is draining every resource I have, including mental, physical, and financial.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring up, because obviously that's what platforms like yours are doing. Obviously, that's what we're trying to get to. But honestly, there's power in numbers and money. Like, that's also why when I first brought this up, I was like, I'm a rollerblader who somehow stumbled on a shitload of money.
You're gonna have to clarify what that means. What do you mean you've stumbled upon a shitload of money? What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm fucking poor, so I don't know. I have no idea. How do people get rich? I have no idea. But what I mean is, like, maybe you're from a family that, has a lot of money and you've got left a lot of money, or maybe a really nice house that You're like, I don't want this house. I'm just going to sell it and live more modestly. But you have, I don't know.
You're not explaining yourself here, because you've already told me that you didn't grow up.
It doesn't
in a
matter
stable
how the
quite-
money comes. It doesn't matter. Fuck how the money got there. The money's there.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is also, and there's power in numbers. So you got money, you got power. You're going to be able to do things like the weekend skit that just happened with them. That did not happen off of just, hey, you want to do this? Yeah. Oh, I don't really have that much money. Oh yeah, me neither. Okay, fine. Let's just see how it goes. Like, no, they were like, yeah, we got this. I got this. Let's do this. They had money. They had people. It was a production. That's what you need for anybody to take you seriously. And why, like, that's not like crazy to like, it should be taken seriously. Anything where it's some kind of, anything that's a whole industry should be taken seriously. If there's a whole industry of these specific toys being manufactured, it should be taken seriously, like, because there's obviously a lot of money being made, or there could be a lot of money being made. And the fact that people have been so touchy about if it can, there just needs to be money put into it. People need to be able to survive. People need to have like some kind of future in this thing, even when they step off their skates to work in the background of the scenes. There needs to be something like that, but it needs to be driven by, unfortunately, money. Okay. And like, so what you're doing right now is awesome. This is what we need. But have you ever thought about making a team or finding some kind of investor, or really like trying to do something that like could possibly fuck your whole life up and put you in debt? I guess.
I did, and it did.
Oh, really? So that's what you're saying. You did do that.
It put me in debt for.
But did you do it with the whole team, or did you do it by
quite a few years? I had 2 designers. I had basically a principal photographer guy that worked as Sam Cooper, did so many of the covers, worked his ass off, never managed to pay him a penny. I never got paid a penny. The only people who ever got paid were the people who designed the print issue. I paid them out of my own.
Oh, so you were even doing print. You were
dragged myself into further debt. So yeah, I got myself into a lot of debt. Yeah.
Okay, so you were doing print issues. Yeah, I mean, yep. I think that, and like, print issues probably fucked you, huh? That probably got you.
Oh yes.
Damn. See, like, yeah, print's expensive, dude. See, like, that's why maybe I'm not, it already happened, so I'm not going to sit here and say like, you should have done this, but like, you know, maybe starting from like not print, like just like how you're doing your platform now, like go in like the easy way. And when it starts making more growth and making more stability, then you start throwing in the hard copies and maybe, I don't know, fuck hard copies, maybe. I don't know. That's why I also said I'm a rollerblader with a bunch of money for no reason. I don't know how I got it, but I have it. Okay. Then maybe you could do print, because right now we're all like dudes in our garages. Every skate company is like a guy in their garage. Pretty much, you know, like, and like, even as far as John, yeah. He's John Julio and them skates is it, but they just have a bigger garage. It's still a garage though. Like, it's like, but I think that like when we get to a point, there will be warehouses again, you know, like there will like big, we could do it. I think actually when I went to visit Matthias, Power Slide has like the Disroyal warehouse is amazing. Like the one in Germany.
When did you go to visit Matthias?
I went to go visit Matthias the beginning of the brand. I was when we were filming Rising.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that. Right. Okay. What, as in just you? Who went to see him?
Me and Mark Marino. I also went to France, and then I went there. From France, I went to Germany, and I met up with Mark there. And we were working on the skate that we all skate now.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I knew that Mark had a hand in like designing the sole plate.
Yeah, we all had a hand in it.
Yeah.
Like the original 4, you know, like people, like the kind of like the pro team, I guess, you know, like me, Bill, Mark, Dom and Levy, like we all had and just our whole team that we had at the time in the beginning, it was everything is organically us, you know, like just so when we went there, me and Mark were mainly just working on like the different types of plastics, and that's when we found PBEX and it's like an old Nike, or not old, it's a Nike plastic that they it's just like a better plastic. It's what the plastic that we use.
Okay.
Because we were using just normal PU before that, and we were having a little issues with the how it flexed. But now I honestly think that the PU, if hardened, can be just as durable and just as good as the PBEX. Like, I don't know. I really want to start making, me and Bill have been, you know, we want to get to the point where we're able to make more price point skates. Like even when I was watching that show last night, to go back to it again, the 9 Club thing, they were looking at the prices of the skate and they were like, whoa, yeah. $399. Whoa. That is absurd, kind of, you know, not absurd. My skate's $399. I'm not saying, it's just what skates are. It's how much, it's the cost of doing all this shit. It costs money. So we want to get to the point where we make a really good price point skate that, like, you know, is more accessible, but with really good parts. So it's not, you know, dangerous.
Yeah.
Because usually the cheaper products the more dangerous they get, you know?
There's plenty of good price point skates. It's one of those things that is quite interesting because yes, that is a lot of money, like $400.
Yeah, there's plenty of price point.
It's a lot of money to spend on skates, but compared to other sports, it's actually relatively cheap for participants once you're already a participant in that sport. Like, for example, BMXs are expensive, mountain biking, snowboarding, skiing. But the problem is it's hard to get people into the sport if that is like their first experience of, oh my God, I'm going to need to drop. Like, because that's what put me off skiing for decades. I was like, that's really fucking expensive to get into. So,
dude, that's even happened to me with our sport. I can't get a pair of wizard frames because they're like, even when I could probably find a pair of used ones maybe for cheap, but like, I really want to get to that point where I could just drop $500 on something.
You just told me you're sitting on loads of money. You're fine. You can drop the money on those wizard frames.
I'm not sitting on loads of money. When I was the millionaire with like Rollerblader. Yeah. I wish I was that guy. But, yeah, so like you're totally right. The reason why I don't have skis, the reason why I don't have a sick BMX, the reason why I don't have, you know, an awesome scooter that I trust or whatever, you know, like the reason why I don't have any of those things is because I don't have right there all those things that I would love to participate in. That's like $5,000 worth of shit right there. Just those 4 different instruments.
Yeah.
And like you're right though. That's what happens with music too. A new guitar, that's like $1,000.
Yeah.
You know, for a good one
that
you really trust. Doesn't have to be, you could there's probably a bunch of guitar rollerbladers or skaters.
Yeah, you can get anything cheap if
you
know
how.
Yeah,
and you don't need that. I just love picking up a fucking silky guitar where I'm like, ooh, and like somebody put a lot of work into it and it's expensive and fun to play. Like I admire that. But yeah, you don't need a good guitar just like you don't need good skates. You could buy a pair of, you know, cheap skates, make sure the parts are good, and it's the basic skeleton, and you could freaking rip, you know. But you'd have to have some knowledge.
That's the problem. Yeah, like it can be cheap if you know someone that can guide you in the direction to make it cheap. Like I get into playing drumming, and it's like, oh, I don't know where to start. This is all new. I don't know the brands. I don't know what's good, what's shit.
You don't know. You don't know what certain toms give a better dump or whatever sound off of. Like you don't know what cymbals are going to resonate better when you first start.
So
and that's how it is.
Blading can be cheap, but you need someone on the inside or someone who skates to guide you and be like, oh, you could pick up a pair of Majestics for like less than $200 and they're going to do the job for a while until you figure out what you like. Or yeah.
And luckily me, you know, like skating with people like Devin or like who's like a pro scooter and like he was just like, yo, I got an extra scooter. I'll give you, and I'm like, and I'm sure it's going to be top of the line scooter that he's going to give me. But like I was saying, Susie and Joey over here, they are not skating with Devin all the time, like, and Devin's probably not going to give them a top of the line scooter for free just because you shred with him a bunch, like, unless like he's shredding with Susie. If he's shredding with them, then yeah, he probably will. But it's like, that doesn't happen for everybody, where it's just like, there's a completely knowledgeable person about this topic and they're just like, you need this. And that's what's great about going to a skateboard shop or a ski shop or a snow, like whatever shop, because you go in there and you want to trust the guy being like, I'm just getting into this. I don't want to kill my pocket, but I also don't want to die doing this. Help me. And that's when you go to a blade shop. That's what you're supposed to, that's what your job is, like Matt Micki at Intuition, I'm sure gets that question all the time, like people coming in like, listen, these skates are 500 and they look kind of similar to these $200 ones. What's the thing? No.
Yeah. You don't need the 500 ones yet. Maybe just see how passionate you are about this first. Yeah. And then. What's right. So obviously you're on Mesmer. You've had the skate. The first run of the skate sold out. There's a second run of the skate. And then now you've got I know you've got the second edition out now, but you basically had 2 runs of the first one, because the first one sold out pretty quick.
It's not this is what happened. So when we first launched, we were already keeping it a secret for some time, and it was just and it was actually, I think it was the best launch date that we could have done under the circumstances with COVID in China and everything happening. But we launched only 200, I believe it was. Europe gets 100 and America had 100 at first out of a batch of 1,200. Which were the V1s of my skate. And it's not that, so we sold out of the 100 because we were like, people are finding out about us already and we need to just drop. We need to just do it. So we wanted to launch by this point, but we wanted to have all the products. We had to have the 1,200 shipped, and then we had an expedited 200 fly. So we had 100 on a plane to America, 100 on a plane to Germany. And that was just to expedite the process of getting them out. So those sold out. The V1s, the 100 each, pre-sale, pre-order, those sold out. And then there was still, we still have V1s. That's why they're cheaper. That's why we're stoked that we have. So the V1s, since we're a brand new company, we obviously noticed that we could do things better and better and better. So we wanted to just keep making, our products better. So we made the V2 version, since my skate's already, it was already there and in the in the warehouse. We wanted to try and fix those little hiccups right away. That's why we made the V2 and of my skate, because we already had I think we already had a certain number that we were going to be making already. So we were like, oh, before you finish those, let's see if we can make them better. And we made them better. And better liner and updated parts on it. And now Dom Bruce's skate has already come with those without, it's already had those hiccups fixed for his skate. And we have size 5 now. We didn't have size 5 in the V1s. So the V2s of my skate, now we have size 5. And with Dom's skate, we have size 5. So that's one of the biggest things for me, because that gets kids, and a lot of females have smaller feet. That gets a lot more kids and females able to skate our skate.
So there was 1,200 of your skate made. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and we still have the V1s. That's why they're marked down. Okay. And we have the V2s now, and then we have Dom's skate, and we're just only trying to keep making better and better skates. And I'm over the moon about how amazing we were able to make these skates. Cause I am a picky person when it comes to my skates and my music or my anything really. I can get really picky and not in a critique way, more of in I know what I like. I know what I need. you know, I know what's going to get me through. It's not in a critique way, like, fuck that, fuck that. So when it comes to the skates, I was so happy that like it made the dumph sound. It made I could do big gaps. I could like, you know, like, oh, and the V2s, we have like a harder sole plate now. So like we were having a little bit of an issue on the V1s with like, you know, just the plastic was normal. Like it would, we have it hardened now. So the sole plates are like last a lot longer and they're better longevity, you know, like cess slides and people were grinding to our shock pad, our shock absorber in between the shell and the sole plate. So like now that we have harder plastic, hopefully we'll, you know, and that's another thing too, that I'm really stoked that our skates just come with. They just come with the shock absorber in between.
I love that. That was when I got the skates. I was like, it reminded me of like when I used to skate Valos. I was like, these just sound great. That's what I hate, a skate that sounds plasticky or sounds like clacky, or when you landed a trick on those, you were like, that's really satisfying. And I know you guys fixed the sole plates, but the original sole plates, I was like, these are incredible. I know. I remember the Mesmer sole plates, one of my favorite sole plates.
I remember watching your video and in cold places, I believe that's true for sure. The hotter your skate gets, the hotter temperature, I think, the warmer the plastic gets, and the more you know, like because when you were skating, it was cold, no? Like when
it was like pretty sure I got them in the middle of winter. Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. When you're skate, like, and they're not yeah, you're right. They're amazing. But I also think that even if something's amazing, there's probably something you can make better about it. You know, like even with our, you know, there's always going to be something you can make better. And unfortunately, with like the timing thing, oh, it's so annoying with how long like if you have an idea from the point of the idea till the time that it's prototyped, and then from the time that it's prototyped and tested till the time that it's released, I hate that process. I mean, I love
that. That would drive me insane. You're like, why? Okay, right. I understand why this needs to happen because it's a process, but you're like, this is a really long ass process that's involving more patience than I possess. Yeah.
And then also having the people to be able to explain to China our crazy little critiques and get like them implemented into making a better skate. It's fun, it's crazy, it's annoying, it's awesome. These are all the things that you have to, like, you know, like any journey, you know, you got to enjoy the journey more than whatever's at the end of it, you know, like I don't know if I said that, I butchered that phrase.
Not at all. Right, so you know what my next question is going to be. What I want to know the numbers with the skates. What kind of royalties are you getting this? Did you make any money on the skate? What happened with that?
That's kind of a personal question.
I ask personal questions. You can refuse to answer it. You're well within your rights to not answer it.
No, we get $30 royalties for like everything that was like sold directly. And honestly, I've made, because like you get paid like in like kind of like chat, like the skates sell for like you know, and then it's not like you get just like everything all at once. But I've been able to not really work this past year. I've been able to do all the vacations. I've been working, luckily, because I have a connection with a job where it's like, hey, I'm leaving. All right, cool. See you when you get back. Like, and then I'll come back and I'll keep working with weed with him. He's like a friend of mine that owns a company. My weed job.
I was about to say, don't be admitting on YouTube that you're a weed dealer, but I'm guessing you're a cutter. Is that right?
It's fully legal.
Right,
I don't like, I'm not a criminal. I like literally I live in California.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I was like, I
work at a medical marijuana facility, and it's fully legal. It's fully top of the line. It's amazing. It's called Spliffin.
So what is it you do for them?
Oh, I've done just about everything for them. I helped create the company in a minor way. Like I was there when the owner was like, he thinks that he came up with the name, but I was the one who came up with Spliffin. Honestly, he thinks that he came up with it, but whatever. I'm not even gonna argue with him because whatever. But we were like sitting there, and he was smoking vape. He was smoking nicotine out of vape pens, and this was like 10 years ago, like really long.
The last time I spoke to you, you said like your girlfriend at the time, her brother or a cousin or something was starting a vape line, and you were helping build that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is my buddy Sergio, and yeah, I was dating his cousin back in the day, and we still have, he wanted me to start he wanted to start a rollerblade company with me back then, and I was like, yo, you need to chill. He just like has money, and he was like that guy that I was talking about with money. He just doesn't rollerblade, but he wanted to do Bolino skates back then, and I was like, bro, that's not gonna work. And no,
that's a bit on the bone. I mean, I'm not saying your name couldn't sell, but that's a bit it's
no. That was one of my biggest problems with, like, I love Brian Shima, but even when he started SSM from NIM, I was like, bro, really? Like, now we're only as big as your name. But then again, like, Shima skate manufacturing, it's kind of catchy. Not everybody associates the word Shima with knowing Brian Shima, and Shima
True.
does sound cool. So it took me a little bit to realize that. But like, yeah, like for a minute there, I was like, really, we're all just as big as you, kind of like, we can't get, this brand doesn't get bigger than you. That's why I love names like Mesmer and things like that, because it's like, it's bigger, that we're trying to create something that's just a name at the end of the day, but also it's like something that doesn't, I guess, like put you in a box.
Yeah, it can take on any kind of meaning, as opposed to, I don't know, if you call something Jordan Brand. Yeah, that's fine if you're the biggest basketballer of all time, but for everyone else, you can't really, it's not that applicable in many other areas. Yeah.
So he wanted to do that with me back in the day. He wanted to do Bolino blades, and
I'm so glad you didn't do that. I'm so glad you didn't do that.
No. Yeah,
I would have hated to have had to roast one of my favorite skaters regularly on YouTube. That would have hurt my soul.
Literally, roast is what happened around that time. I started a band called Roast, and I was like, nah, I'm okay. I'm gonna be doing this instead. And it wasn't even like, I thought it was a great, like, funny thing. But yeah, like I'm glad that didn't happen. But to step back into what we were talking about, yeah. So this past year, I've been able to it's been awesome. I stayed out in Barcelona for almost 3 months filming Rising. Not everybody did that. I was the only one that did that, because I was filming the promo for my skate. Everybody on the pro team with their, like, aside of the monthlies or whatever, I was able to stay out there from, the money my skate was, it wasn't even out yet, actually. Like, we were just mainly like getting, we were mainly like
projecting, like you were like, this is
projecting a lot. Yeah, projecting a lot at the time. And I was running off of low fuel, like, with money. But then when I got back from Barcelona, that was when, like, I started getting paid for my skate. My skate started coming out, and I feel very blessed to be able to do this and do what I've been doing for the past year. I want to keep it going. I want to be able to work less with marijuana and more with rollerblades. I want to be a full-time rollerblader. Like,
well, that's right now you're a semi-professional rollerblader. You're a part-time pro, but you'd like to be full-time pro.
Yeah, I would love to be full-time pro, but I don't think that's a thing in rollerblading. Like, there's not many full-time pros unless you have a gig, like how Half You had Nitro Circus, and like some kind of gig. But then even a gig, that's a job. So it's like, you're working. You're still working.
Halfy was definitely working for that money. He was doing a lot of shows.
Skating's working. Being in a band is working. All these things that people think are a lot of fun are fun, but it's working. And then when it gets to the point where your hobby becomes your job, it is not fun. And then it's really working. When you have to take something that's supposed to be fun and fluid and expressional, and you have to force yourself to do it, it is, ew, I'm like getting getting skeevy just thinking about it. I fucking hate it. I hate that one.
So you mentioned Mesmer Rising, which was unbelievable. Like the way you guys started the company and announced it with that, I was like, that is like the perfect way to start a brand in rollerblading. Like it couldn't have generated more hype. The video was amazing. Lost count how many times I've watched it. Like everyone put in a strong performance. You obviously had the most footage because you were there the longest. What was that like when you were in Barcelona with Mark? Like, were you guys talking about it in the context of, holy shit, I really hope people react to this well, or were you guys like securing like, we're killing this, like the stuff we're getting, people are gonna fucking love this. This is gonna be something. Because the reaction you guys got from the video when it came out was insane. Like I don't think I heard one person complain about it, and that never happens.
We were extremely enthusiastic from this. We were giddy like children from the second we found out the people that were on board and a part of the process. And it was something that like, it's like bubble. It's like butterflies kind of, like, it was definitely, it was the most important thing that I've done in my life, I think, was, and like when it was first getting started, all the when we first like realized, holy shit, this can actually happen. Like we can do this. When that happened, and we were, first things first, me and Bill hit up Mark, and then we got Dom and Levy and Lulu and all like the, over time. But yeah, it was just like right away, I was kind of like, we could not add one more person. Luckily we have since then, but even from the beginning, I was like, we could not add one more person, and I'm fully stoked on this. Like, but I'm also one of those guys, like I aim high, but I'm more modest. Like I'm not, if I had a lot of money, I wouldn't have a crazy big flashy house. I would keep it chill and, blah, blah, blah. So that means I'm happy with less flashy and less like, I just want to be there. I just want to be here and be able to do the things that I think are cool. And like, my friends think are cool. And that's what Mesmer is. It's just, we're just trying to keep it core, keep it real, keep it, like everybody involved and everything that we do is, I think, as real as it gets in rollerblading. And I have a pretty good, I feel like I have a good, like, I can like kind of gauge and feel like when something's like really just like, there's something fucking really hype and cool about this. Like, I think there's something that could like really come of this. Like, when you get that feeling, I don't know, you just got to run with it. And I feel that way about Mesmer. I feel like everybody involved from the get-go, we didn't know if it was going to be an amazing video, but we didn't really care. We were just having more fun, having this opportunity and being able to skate with each other and being able to, because really we're all lifetime friends. We've been friends forever. So like now being able to have this opportunity, we're just able to like really, really like, kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like really, I guess like capitalize on like what, not capitalize, like kind of like really, fucking.
I think I know what you mean. Like concentrate all your efforts, or like basically,
into something, like have a home, like not like have some kind of project that's like really. And you don't really get that often, I think, like, unless it's like, like there's people who, you go to college and then you get a job. When every project you get handed, you probably don't love. If I was a journalist for Vice, like I probably, or whatever, you probably don't love every job that you get, like, so with rollerblading, I'm just really happy and fortunate, or I feel grateful that there was this opportunity to arise, I guess, to do this, with this brand. And yeah, it's cool. Me and Bill started heavy distribution, and we're trying to get that we're trying to focus a lot on that now and get that. Mesmer has been so busy, and yeah, we're just trying to like focus on more things, and just, why do we do anything?
That's a very good. I ask myself that on a regular basis.
Why do we do anything when we wake up?
So Bill owns Mesmer with Matthias, and then you own Heavy with Bill. Like, are you guys like part owners of the distribution company?
We're partners in Heavy, yeah. Okay. And my affiliation with Mesmer is more of a skater / creative, and just like everybody on the team, and we all have the same thing of like creative control. We all get equal creative rights. Dennis Lopez has been doing he's so fashionable, he's so cool.
I saw that he's been doing a lot of like the merch for you guys.
He's getting behind he just did our latest line. We have a really cool mushroom that Levy drew that says Mesmer on a sweater. And
oh yeah, you were wearing it the last time. You were wearing it on the hoodie.
Oh, that was a hoodie. That was a different one. That was the one that that's a new Mesmer hoodie that Dennis actually made. It's got like barbed wire and like in this little square, like, or surrounding a little square with eyes and like flames.
Right.
And it says Mesmer. It's really cool. Barbed wire and flames. I'm sold. I like that.
You neglected to mention your other role as being Dominic Bruce's personal manager and bossing him around. You clarified that in the last podcast, so we need to reinstate that. John's your personal manager.
I think I've kind of. I don't think I'm gonna. I kind of, dude. I try to help Bill with, but like when we're on tours and stuff. But yeah, I am still skating, and I am still like, so not like I don't manage anybody, but at the same time, I do definitely try to make sure things run smoother if they could. And you've been on skate tours,
briefly. So what I was going to ask is like, in terms of how does that mean the old John Bolino who used to get himself into trouble all the time, that's long gone, or do you still are you still a party boy that like even when you're doing the skate trips and stuff like that? Because I'm sure you put up a thing on Instagram not that long ago where you got into trouble with the law. I don't know how much I want to bring it up if you don't want to, but I'm sure you put a post on Instagram with you alongside a police officer.
Oh, that was a joke. That was funny.
Right.
Oh, that was the security guard at the weed warehouse that I work at.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that was just a funny I was all like, fucking. That was just a funny little thing. That I was just joking around. But no, I don't. I never really I don't really do. I'm not a bad kid.
I never said you were bad. I just said
no, not bad. No, not that's not what I mean. Because you don't have to. Whatever. Like what I mean is like I've never been arrested. Really, like I got arrested when I was. Oh, this is a funny story. I got arrested when I was a kid. I stole from a mall. I got arrested in Philly.
You have a thing about stealing as a teenager.
When I was a kid. When I was a teenager, that was when I was a little shit. Right. I was just a little shit. I was poor and I was living in Philly, and I was working at Neglected Truth and helping screen print denial shirts in the basement. And then
so this happened when you were living with Kilgore.
Yeah. So
okay.
So this flashback to all the way to then. So this is when I got arrested. We talked about when I got arrested in Europe for peeing. Yep. This is the only other time I've gotten arrested, and this was in America. And I stole from a mall. And I got arrested once before when I was younger than that, but that's really dark. We don't need to go there. That was like more of a family issue. Right. That wasn't anything. So like so this one, I got arrested for stealing in a mall, and I go to they detain me. They put me in, No,
you don't get to gloss over that part. What were you stealing?
Oh, I was stealing a pair of pants.
Right.
I had like really baggy pants on, and I like put on like 4 pairs of pants, and then like in a fitting room, and then because jeans, dude, rollerbladers rip through freaking jeans.
We do. You go through them really quick, and if you're broke,
so I was like, fuck spending $50 on my $60 on my favorite jeans every time these damn things rip. So I took a bunch of chains, I put a pair of baggy pants over, and I walked out. I ended up getting chased and tackled, and yeah, they arrested me.
Yeah, it can't be easy to run on
Philadelphia,
multiple pairs of jeans.
You don't want to get arrested in Philadelphia. Oh my God. The back of the van that they threw me in, it was a big van and there was blood all over the van. And I had handcuffs. So they threw me in face first. And I just remember my face just being on just blood, dude. It was disgusting. I was like, fuck, dude. Like, I don't want blood on me and shit. So anyway, they take me in. They detain me in in a holding cell, and the fucking cops are watching SpongeBob. They're all laughing, watching SpongeBob. I'm like, this is insane. All of these old fucking cops, like, okay. So I start kind of like, do I get a phone call? Do I, blah, blah, blah. And they're trying to get in touch with like people that, they're trying to get in touch with people in my family, and my grandparents raised me. They had passed away. I think I told you about that. And
yeah,
I went to Philly. They were my guardians. So like there was nobody for them. They weren't getting in touch with anybody. So I was like, can I just make a phone call to somebody? And I called like Kilgore or something. Yeah, I called Kilgore. Kilgore doesn't show up. Like 5 hours go by, something like that total while I'm in there. But like since the phone call, it was only like an hour or two later. Fucking Sean Kelso walks into the fucking police station, and Sean Kelso busts me out of jail. I was just like, no fucking way. Like going from, you got to remember, I was still like 16 at this time. Yeah. So I was like a kid who was obsessed with the Kelsos, still am, but like was like, this is just insane. I moved to Philly and now I'm getting fucking arrested and picked up by Sean Kelso. I was like, I was more stoked at the end of the night than I was like upset.
That is a good Grom story. Like, how many people can say Sean Kelso like bailed me out of jail? Like that's a good blading Grom story.
Yeah, it's a very surreal, crazy moment for me when I was like just starting to hang out with these guys,
Also, I kind of feel like if Adam Kilgore showed up to bail you out, that might not have done you any favors, because he'd probably walk in just stinking of weed smoke, and the police officer's like, we're not letting
you're going right. Get over here. We're bringing you right in too. Right next to me. Throw me right in the cell with me.
Yeah. They'd be like, you're not paying his bail, and can you please empty your pockets?
Yeah, totally made sense. I think I called Kilgore and Sean showed up. Maybe I don't think I called No, because I was like, what the fuck? Sean, what is SK doing here? That was funny. But no, I'm not. Besides that, I've been skating kind of heavy and hard at a young age. And since then, then when I joined the band, around 24, I started kind of like reliving my youth and kind of getting crazy again, trying to do that free spirit wild guy thing. But I still was always very, if you know me, oh, sorry.
My daughter's just breaking in. Yeah. Well, and she's gone again. She basically just came to steal the dog from the room.
So yeah, like I guess like, yeah, I think like that was just I never really before that though, the other incident where I got arrested, that was just like a family thing where my brother got picked up. He and brothers, young, he unfortunately had some drug problems, so they picked him up with like a pill prescription that like was ripped off, and he had the vial, and they went to go search the house, and I was there. But yeah, besides that, I guess like when I got older, I was kind of like, when I started to do the band thing, I kind of like smoked a lot of weed and drank, just like kind of party scene, that's
standard stuff. Yeah, like that's not, I mean, I feel
like, but I in California, you always run into people that are, it sucks because, it's like my brother, drug problems are really real and they're a bummer, like I had to save my brother from like a really bad situation a couple of years ago when we brought him to Florida, and he was having drug issues with heroin. And yeah, me and my uncle called me and he was like, hey, we got to go do something. Your brother's going to die. His livers are failing. He just got out of the hospital and he's staying, in this really Fleabag motel with this girl, and there's a dog, and the place just got flooded and they're just living in a flooded room. So I was just like, oh shit. So we just got like 2 really quick like tickets to Atlantic City, New Jersey. We tried busting in. They wouldn't let us in. I climbed through the window. I eventually broke in. And yeah, it was not a good scene in there. It was very, very bad. So we got him, took him to Florida, and now he's doing great. Like he's doing a lot better. He hasn't, been messing with that stuff. And like, I do understand it's hard. He'll smoke like vape pens, some weed and stuff. And that even bothers me, but it's still like, whatever, like he's not touching heroin.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Like you need to pick your battles. If that's,
yeah.
If it's a vape pen over something that intense, then yeah, let's just let the vape pen slide.
Yeah. So with all that, my parents they do, I guess we're getting kind of deep. My parents, they're still battling their addictions. And that's why I was taken in by my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
So drugs have ruined my family. My cousin Natalie died at 17. Like my uncle Phil, so I could keep going. There's really like a lot of people. My cousin Joel, great skateboarder, Joe Connell. So many people that I love have been taken away by heroin and drugs. So I've always kind of like stayed away from that stuff. And obviously you have to stay somewhat athletic to do rollerblading or sports or even playing a band. You have to, there's a lot of, it's a show, it's a show. And it's a lot of, people can get away with doing the whole cocaine thing, and like alcohol, but that makes you spiral into, and people can get away with the heroin thing, but not really. When you see a live musician do heroin, they're nodding out. People are like, boo, this sucks.
Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with you? Like, stop being, but like, I get all the sides though. Like, I'm not like mad at my brother. I'm not mad at my parents. I'm not mad at anybody for doing what they do with that. Cause I totally understand, small towns and not much to do. But if there's one thing I could say, the world is a lot bigger and beautiful than the small towns. And there's a lot more to life than, just having a quick high and a quick lay or whatever gets you to do, whatever motivates you to try and do those drugs, to hang out with those people or do those things. Life's bigger than that, and there's experiences that are much better than drugs. Landing tricks is much, much better for sure.
I think that says a lot about your personality though, and your character, like, because obviously it does sound like you didn't have the easiest upbringing and, didn't have the most stable. Obviously your grandparents sound like they were awesome and took you in and decided to like raise you. But when they passed away, it could have been so easy for you to go, well, the easy option is to just fuck my life up. You chose the hard option. You moved away from like your family and friends. That's what I mean. You moved away, you moved to a different city, which I would imagine would have been exciting, but at the same time, it's also quite intimidating, especially when you're that young. And
dude, I was a puppy.
And as a result, you've went from New Jersey to living other places in the East Coast to now living in California. You've seen parts of the world that I'm assuming most people in your like close family haven't seen. You've been to countries they probably will never visit, and that's your doing. You did that. Yes, your talent got you there, but like your character and the choices you made also got you there as well.
I think that like when you're presented all these things in life, like that's kind of why people say sometimes like it's character building, like having a hard upbringing. Because yeah, when you're on your own, you can't, even if you have a huge attitude, you need to learn how to tame that. Everybody has a little voice that is more aggressive than the other, passionate voice. And And like, it's just like when you're on your own as a young kid, yeah, like, and you have these kind of things happen, I definitely do think you can't just act any way you want. And like, I feel kind of blessed to walk that path, because it helped me kind of appreciate, you know, what people like. It just made me appreciate, really, I guess. Like, and it made me there were a couple of years where I think, like, you know, you get a little envious about other people and other things around you, but like there's also something you learn from the hard road, that like kind of I like, when I have problems, when I hear of other problems that other friends have sometimes, you know, it's like you got to really think about everybody's boat, and like, it's just hard, man. Like, life can be hard, you know? And for me, I think that it helped me. I think that, like, yeah, it's better to write the book while you're walking the path, rather than, read a really good book and try and emulate the story through an imagination. You know what I'm trying to say?
Definitely, yeah.
Like, it's just more, yeah. But I think that, long story short, with all that, if kids who have drug problems, and if, you know, anybody who has family members with drug problems, if they're watching this, definitely try to get them help, reach out, or kick down a door like I did, or break through a window like I did, and like, just fucking save them, you know, because everybody fucks up and needs a saving sometimes. So yeah,
I think the big mistake a lot of people, well, thankfully it's less common, is some people look at it as a very black and white situation, like, as in, you have junkies and you have sober people, and that's just could not be further from the truth. You have, like, I've had drug problems in the past when I was a lot younger, just making stupid decisions. I was never addicted to anything, but it was fucking up my life. And I've had friends who have died, and they weren't addicts. They just got unlucky, or they partied a little bit too hard one night and it destroyed their life and their family's lives. And it has this ripple effect on, you know, siblings and friends and partners and stuff like that. But yeah, I think people do make the mistake of just making it so simple, like, oh, you're just this person that's downtrodden in life and now you're an addict. No, like, it can happen. There can be so many reasons. Like Louis Zamora, his story, like, he was taking prescription drugs prescribed to him by a doctor, and it just went horribly wrong. He didn't, you know, it was just incredibly crap luck.
Yeah, this happens far too often. Too often. And it's something that, like, it's not just, you know, it's all around the world, you know, like, people are going to try to get their hands on stuff like that. But like, the cool thing is, that there are things like skating. Even my brother, like, I gave him a pair of skates. He has a pair of, like, at the time, I gave him a pair of USD Nick Lowe Maxes, and he started skating again. He doesn't skate like he doesn't skate as much as I do, but like, still, like, even just like people finding new outlets, he's been trying to do a lot more things. He actually picked up wakeboarding. He's been doing that. So it's like, dude, honestly, like, this shit helps. Like, our sports, like, what we do helps people who are addicts. Like, because really, like, I totally have ADD, and like, I feel like a lot of addicts maybe might have ADD and like need something to, like, maybe chill out, or need something to get the wheels turning, you know, either or. But really, you don't need anything. And if your body goes something like, what is it, like 90 days without any substance, like, your body stops needing it. Like 3 months, I think, is what it takes to completely be sober, not take anything for 3 months. Your body stops feeling like it needs it.
Okay.
So really, if you do sports within those 3 months, it, you know, might be the best. I quit smoking weed for 5 months, like 2 years ago. And I wasn't working with it, so it was really easy to not. It was during the pandemic, right when I started, like around the Casey thing.
Right.
Like when I was filming with Casey, I wasn't smoking. And then I started smoking, like, you know, during COVID, like I started getting back into it because I needed to work. I went back to work eventually with that during COVID. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, 90 days you can go, like skating will really help with that too. And like, you know, like even if it's even if you only drink a couple beers every now and then, that still makes you want, you know.
Oh
it
yeah,
makes your
definitely.
body
Even
want.
if you're not, yeah, even if you're not addicted to it, like it becomes a habitual thing. Like it gets to
Yeah.
like I don't drink 7 nights a week, but then it'll get to a Friday and I'll be like, because your mind, you've programmed your mind to be like, oh, on Friday nights we have drinks.
Yeah.
So or
Yeah,
then
and at the same time, there's also nothing wrong with that because everything in moderation is key. Everything is a balance. So it's like, but also you can find yourself slipping just doing that too. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Like you just get into that habit, and then
yeah, and then you're like, fuck, every Friday now, like, you know, and then like it's like, oh shit, every Saturday has been a shitty Saturday because of every Friday I have a little too much to drink. And then like that fucks up my Saturdays for skating. I remember that was a big problem of mine because I had the Friday fever, like what you're bringing up.
Yep.
I would go all week and then, you know, like I'd be like, yep, you know, let's party on Friday night. Let's have a couple, let's see friends. Let's go somewhere. Let's see a show. Let's, you know, so like, yeah, I would always do that. And then when I started skating again, I had to get rid of the Friday fever a little bit, you know.
I've definitely ruined a lot of my own personal Saturday sessions as a result of that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that gave up.
So it kind of like it seems like everything's going in a positive direction, like especially with Mesmer, like exciting brand, progressing. Like, do you have like anything in the future that you're looking forward to, or like anything that you're like excited about? Obviously, you guys had the promo.
Oh, there's
your
tons
skate, and you had Mesmer Rising. Is there going to be anything coming out for Dom's skate, like any like team project or anything like that, or what's?
Oh, you can definitely, you can guarantee there's going to be Dom messing these streets up for sure, dude. Like, yeah, there will be a promo. I don't think I'll get in trouble for saying that.
Right, because he's already got a project that I know is done that he filmed in London ages ago, and Ollie Short was in it, but the video for some reason is still never came out because I spoke to the guy who made it, and he's like, it's just sitting on my computer, but we don't know what to do with it. And then I assumed because Dom was in Barcelona visiting Mark, and then
Dom mentioned that project to me. That's like that was like it's like a branch off of Mesmer, but I still think it is like it's definitely like Mesmer affiliated.
Yeah,
but I think that's still supposed to come out, or I think from when I was talking to Dom last, I think that the reason, or I don't know if I'm even allowed to say this, but I think I think they're just waiting for something to be perfect or something. Okay. They might be waiting on and Dom needs to be with Ollie to do that. So maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know. But if it's a finished project, maybe everybody's going to be seeing it soon. Because that's how it should be, right? I guess so.
Okay.
But I don't really know that much about that one. I remember Dom talking to me about it, and yeah, he was just saying I was, you know, working on this project, and it seems really cool. I can't wait to see it.
You've already emailed me those photos of Levy's pro skate. Thanks for that. It was really nice to see the prototypes of that. And that'll be obviously coming out in the new year. Everyone can look forward to that.
What are you talking about? I never sent you any photos. You're a ball buster. No, there actually no comment, but I can't wait to see Levy skates.
I think that's the safest thing to say. I think for your own personal well-being, I think no comment is the way to go there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see his skates. I'm sure you can't wait to see his skates too.
I can't wait to see the skates.
Yeah. There's gonna be skates and more skates made. A lot of skates. We're doing
That's good to
great.
know.
Yeah.
Also, I love since the last time we spoke, you've somehow managed to have a new section out because Soderburg really slippery slope, and you had like a mini part in it, and I was like, holy crap! There were some amazing lines in there. The bench line where you're like hitting the top and the bottom of the benches. You had the toe roll and heel roll Tony Hawk combos, like that. It was sharp, but it was amazing.
I didn't mean to like. It's weird. Like I skate with those guys on the weekends. Like those are my guys. I skate with the Too Easy guys all the time on the weekend. Those are who I skate with. But at the same time, when I'm going skating with them, I'm not imagining like I'm filming a section. It's just more of I'm like skating with the session. I'm skating with my homies and like each spot, you know. And yeah, of course, you know that Jerm is over there. Jeremy Soderburg is filming, and you know, like your homie, you know, Greg's filming. There's people filming, but like you're really just showing up to a session, and you're. So with that little profile, I was fucking delighted. I didn't know. I asked Jeremy, like, hey, can you send me like what I have? Like weeks before, like a couple weeks, like literally 2 weeks before he was done doing it, because I was like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I don't know what tricks I need. I'm used to you know, making a section. Like, what do I need now? This project was just off the top of the hat. Whatever I did that Saturday, I wasn't looking at, do I have too many Mizus? Do I have too many topsouls? Do I have too many of this? Do I have too many of that? It was just literally like, and then I hit up Jeremy. I was like, because of that reason, and I knew he was going to be making it and coming out. I had enough clips for a little thing, and I was like, let me see what I have so I can work on it. Maybe by the time I even got that, I only had one more session. And then that was when I did literally like so many tricks. Like I'm wearing the Grand Funk shirt, and I did the jump into the roll thing, the topsoul jump, topsoul down the bank. That was the same day I did the alley mono roll to 270 soul to alley peel roll. That was the same day that I did. That
trick was like, wild. Yeah.
That was my last day of filming. So if you look at that section, there's a lot of shit. I think that's also when I did the back rail to Hurricane topsoul, the up the rail, the back rail, topsoul, the flat of the top. I think like that. I think that might have been the same day too. That was like, there was just one day that I remember just being like, fuck, I gotta do shit. So
it had that vibe. It had the vibe of like, it wasn't like, oh, everyone's working their ass off to get a part out here. It had the vibe of we're all meeting up, whatever we get, but in a good way. Like it was enjoyable to watch.
Thank you. I was scared because I didn't know how it was going to end up. And then they put me in the first section, and I went, dude, my hands got clammy at the premiere, because it was like the first video premiere of the weekend of Blade Cup. And the first thing I saw when I sat down in the Stussy shop was fucking, or not Stu. Yeah. It was a Stussy shop. That's where it was. So am I saying that right? Is that the fashion brand Stussy?
Stussy, I think that's how you pronounce it. And I don't know, like British people call Nike Nike. So we don't know anything. I don't know.
Stussy, and I might get made fun of after this. But so we were in that store or something, and the premiere happened, and the first things first was me like doing a cab driver set slide thing, which I thought was kind of goofy in the first place. I was fucking around. And I was like, oh shit, damn. And I remember telling Jerem not to use that clip, but he was like, "Nah, fuck it, we're using it." And I was like, "Okay." It was the first thing I saw, so I got a little clammy. I was like, "Oh, this isn't the trick that rollerbladers think is cool." And like, yeah, surprise. And then it just kind of, they picked doom metal, which I was stoked. They picked Mono Lord for the band, and I thought it was really fun. It was like a treat for me too, because usually I know every millisecond of every section that I'm making, kind of, you know, if I'm lucky enough to work with the filmer like that. But yeah, it was kind of fun. I thought it was pretty fun. And the whole video was so fucking cool. I'm really stoked on Sam's clips, and I'm really stoked on like everybody. Jordan Williams is one of my favorites too. That guy has style for freaking days.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. And like, just always have a really good time skating with them. It's usually just a weekend fling. But yeah, Slippery Slope. Go watch that if you haven't watched it. It's a really good video. And like more are just gonna keep coming, dude. There's still Saturday.
They're a very productive group. So I can imagine the next thing either coming out of LTC or Too Easy won't be too far away.
They're filming already.
Yep, that does not surprise me. So what's the next thing everyone's going to see you in? What is it? Is it the Mesmer project, or like what's?
I don't know.
I love how this is like the first thing you're going to be tight-lipped about. You're like, oh, I guess we'll just need to wait and see. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I've been pretty active, but I'm not going to stop. I think I might maybe step into the shadows and work on my craft a little bit and film something cool. But I'm not going to tell you who with, and I'm not going to tell you what for.
Okay.
I love my wheels though. I'll say that.
Right. So Greg Preston and Dead Wheels. Understood.
Fuck you. God damn it, you son of a bitch. All right. That hasn't started yet. Fuck. Damn, I'm terrible.
You're just
Greg, I'm sorry. Nobody be mad at me. We haven't even started filming, but yeah. Fuck.
I mean, if everyone hasn't figured out that I've tapped their phones by now, they're never gonna, so it's fine.
So yeah, I mean, maybe something like that. And obviously Mesmer stuff. There's more Mesmer stuff in the works that are going to be coming out besides Dom's promo, and hopefully get the crew together for Winter Clash and bust out something nice there. That's just the way to do it. It's just once we get all the guys together for like a nice event, just go fuck up the streets and enjoy the event, and try not to hurt ourselves on the high jump. And no pun intended, Dom, I love you. And just enjoy both the event and the trying to make a little video project out of it. I can't wait for the next video project like Rising, where it's just like for a fucking video, like for a like we're doing, no events around it. It's just this, But no comment. We don't know yet.
Well, I mean, you kind of did comment, but all right. So that means people. So we can expect to see you at Winter Clash. That means I'll run into you there. Then that'll be our.
Yeah, Winter Clash is going to be fun. You're not going to Bitter Cold though, right?
I'm not, because I annoyingly I shared it, and then do you know Ant Medina, Texas filmmaker?
What was that? What's his name?
Do you know Anthony Medina? He made like Candy and
yeah. I've watched his films for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I've met him, yeah.
Well, he's been over to Scotland to stay before, and we've kind of kept in touch, and I shared the Bitter Cold thing, and he's like, if you get a ticket to Bitter Cold, he's like, I'll come out. And I was like, it's literally the week after Winter Clash. There's no way my partner is letting me disappear off dad duty for Winter Clash and then like a week later just get a flight to America. That's not happening. So it's going to be Winter Clash and Winter Clash only, I'm afraid. But I'm very envious of everyone going to Bitter Cold.
It's a week after Bitter Cold, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a week after Winter Clash, huh?
It's like they're a week apart. I can't remember which way it is. Yes, it's one of those ways. But I can rest assured that you're going to place top 3 at Bitter Cold, and then you can tell me the story about it when I see it.
No comment. Stop putting words in my mouth. I don't know. It's always the same thing with competitions. Whatever day, if it feels. I don't think I'm going to be feeling like that though. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, how about I'll do a bet, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Do I do a bet? Right. If you place top 3 at Bitter Cold, I'll give you $100.
Oh,
I think that's a reasonable wager. No,
I could use $100.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's a deal.
You know what? I'll bet you if I compete. If I compete, am I allowed to do that? But if I don't compete, then it doesn't.
Okay.
Then wait, what do I owe you if I don't get?
You don't owe me anything. I'm just saying if that's an incentive. You place top 3 at Bitter Cold, I'll give you $100. Right, deal.
Right,
YouTube,
cool.
YouTube shake on it. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. It felt real. All right, cool. Yeah, deal. But yeah, so as far as that's what's coming up, and that's what's next. And there's obviously going to be things coming out that are, probably just going to be spontaneous weird shit. But yeah, pretty much covered almost all the topics.
All right. Well, we've been at it for over 2 hours again, so I'll let you do the rest of your day. And
always good talking.
Always.
And
I'll see you in February at Winter Clash.
I'll see you at Winter Clash.
Yeah. Where I may or may not have to give you $100, depending on how lazy you're feeling in Detroit.
Yeah. I mean, they are a week apart, so I still have to figure that out. But
this is true.
Yeah.
Right. Speak soon.
All right, cool. Speak soon.
Bye.
Later.
Don't fuck with us. It's gonna get real bad.